It's Jimothy, folks. Hello. Watermess versus River. This is quite a matchup. Old versus new. River proving to be a formidable opponent. I wonder if Watermess will be caught off guard. I believe this is the first time they've played one another. Mence versus Tarlead. Usually both exit, as has happened here. Gengar probably going to force out this Forretress. Doesn't want to risk getting fire punched or burned. And it's an Umbreon from Watermess in a fantastic position. That's going to synchronize Burn to Gengar. And Pursuit as well, with Sand up to make that damage stick further. This is a great start for Watermess. That Gengar is almost dead. Forretress will be able to safely spin later. Tyranitar going to force this out for now. That punch is huge on the incoming Swampert. It's going to be big chip damage. Although Swampert can heal back with one left over and another one right now. Chipping a Skarmory on the way in too. But every little bit of chip on Swampert does add up. River's game plan going to be probably to break down that Swampert over time, with establishing one layer of Spike will certainly help. But Watermess long term is going to have the upper hand in this Spike war after that fantastic opener and bringing Gengar so low. Dodged a burn from that Fire Punch. Snorlax going to force out Jirachi maybe. Dynamic Punch misses. Whoa, Yawn Snorlax you don't see every day. Forcing out Jirachi in an interesting way here. Going to go for Focus Punch. Bringing that Skarmory even lower. I like the team from Watermess. Umbreon, Snorlax, and Forretress all synergizing. Because Umbreon eliminates Gengar, which benefits this Punch Snorlax. Wish support is good for both of those. Goes for the Yawn there. Yawn Focus. This is kind of a classic set. You used to see this back in the day. Umbreon coming in on... I think Watermess expected a Gengar entry. It's a bit awkward for Watermess because the Gengar is still alive. And look at that. Skarmory's asleep. So that's yet another interesting development in this battle. River has put his Skarmory to bed just for that roar to bring Umbreon a bit lower, which may be genius here. Preserving Gengar a little bit longer. Although if you stay here with Gengar, you're going to faint. So Gengar going to fall now to this Burn and Sand. Watermess is probably happy to trade Umbreon for Gengar. And now Watermess just needs to find one Rapid Spin, and that is a huge stabilization. But what the heck, folks? River has a spinner as well. And now we're in a mirrored situation where Watermess is trying to threaten Starmie with Gengar. Goes for Giga Drain there, maybe trying to take a hit and heal some back in a 1v1 scenario, but River just exited, not trying to play that game. Okay, Watermess all of a sudden in the more awkward position. River applying pressure with these three spikes up. Watermess really needs to find an opportunity to Rapid Spin somewhere in here. Goes for a Blast. River pivots Starmie in correctly, forcing out Salamence with an Ice Beam right now. What will Watermess choose to do? Three spikes on the field. Difficult to go to Snorlax in this spot. Brings Gengar in again. Watermess desperately needs this Rapid Spin, but River is making it very, very difficult. That was a great Fire Punch on the incoming Jirachi. Great prediction, but it didn't even take much. Not much reward off that. Forretress going to come in, but this Jirachi has Fire Punch, so this won't work. Maybe Watermess should have taken his chances with the Snorlax, but just baiting Fire Punch for the Salamence entry, that was the plan. Go Furry in between, take a Psychic, bit of Spikes, invite a Fire Punch for the Salamence to come in and force out Jirachi that way. Dragon Claw, a mid-ground play. River bringing in Skarmory, just happy to sacrifice it at this stage and just see what the Salamence chose to use there. That was a fantastic play from River, predicting the Forretress coming in. Attempting to spin, and the River just never allowing this Forretress to spin. Ever. Huge. It seemed like such a good position for Watermess, but if you can never Rapid Spin, it isn't so great, is it? Even if you do get through the Gengar. And now this mixed Jirachi, I have noticed River really loves mixed Jirachi sets, which are quite strong. Who's faster here? Looks like the Salamence is faster, which might be Watermess's final saving grace. A bit of gaming here would go a long way. No Brick Break predict there. Hard move to click, of course. But that would have maybe saved your life, Watermess, if you just Brick Breaked there. But evidently it's Hydro Pump Salamence, which doesn't do enough, regrettably. Gengar could clean things up, maybe. Jirachi is very healthy still. Giga Drain certainly helps getting a bit of health back there, 10%. But Jirachi can live a hit and just Psychic. Snorlax is taking 3 spikes. And Jirachi's even faster than this Gengar. Interesting speed situation. The Salamence faster than Jirachi, but Jirachi faster than Gengar. Usually that's all backwards. This game is some unusual speed benchmarks going on. Now it's Snorlax versus the world. We better hope this has got a rest on it. I am doubtful, based on the sets revealed so far. It doesn't even have Earthquake, so yeah, this is over, regrettably. What looked so great for Watermess in the early game, River just outmaneuvered it. I think the real winning play was that double to Tyranitar on the Forretress. Watermess has never played River before. Maybe he didn't expect such a move. Because that is a gamer maneuver. That is a show of awareness. You know, the Skarmory sitting there. It is allowing Forretress to come in and Rapid Spin. But River on top of it. Understanding that if that Rapid Spin comes down, it's over. Never letting it happen. Watermess tried some stuff there, going Forretress in the interim on the Psychic, bringing Salamence in to force out Jirachi, trying to get the foot back in the door, but yeah, it all came down to that Tyranitar double. Really. Another chance for Watermess in game 2. Tar vs Tar. And both exit. Now River is running the Forretress. Watermess gonna create one layer. And Watermess could spin block with his own Gengar in this spot. No, just goes for an additional layer. And River goes for the Rapid Spin. Watermess just testing the waters, seeing what River wants to do. Maybe that gives some information about the team. If you're willing to Rapid Spin there. I mean, this is very likely to be Pursuit Tyranitar. River went for the Pursuit Tar switch in. Watermess standing his ground with the Skarmory, which was actually a great play. River very aggressive switch to Tar there, predicting a Gengar coming in. But there wasn't any Gengar. Watermess may not even have a Gengar for all we know. Little information revealed so far. In comes Moltres on Forretress. Huge play. Forcing Forretress out. Now Watermess is giving River a taste of her own medicine. Playing similarly. Making spikes and trying to pressure. And Toxic goes crazy there. On the incoming Blissey. I think Moltres might have Protect on it to rack up more chip damage. Goes for Flamethrower though, aggressively. Which was a good move because no status came down from the Blissey. And Watermess is telling a story. No Protect maybe? Or you just delaying it for a moment. Just goes for Flamethrower again. Bit of a, and now he will try a moment from Watermess here. He's gaming all of a sudden. Switches to Metagross in case of any nonsense, and that was probably a good move because it turns out to be Thunder Wave Tyranitar. Watermess not necessarily expecting that, but yeah, even Pursuit-Tar can have Rock Slide and stuff like that for Moltres or even whatever random flex slot, and it turns out to be Thunder Wave, probably Crunch Pursuit, Fire Blast. Thunder Wave would be the set, I would imagine. So good thing Watermess did not get caught off guard by that Thunder Wave, because Moltres is very important as a threat here. What if Watermess will continue to just Flamethrower this Blissey? Not a bad move here, because Blissey is inclined to heal no matter what. If you don't heal, Blissey is pretty much dead, so... But River not clicking any status moves yet. Is a Thunder Wave coming down now? No? Moltres just happily pressuring Blissey with Toxic and these little jabs of Flamethrower, 20%. And not going for it there either. We have to want huge Toxic on the exit. That is massive. You just Toxic Salamence. That's dead now, basically. If you Toxic again, you're the greatest to ever do it. You didn't. That would be... It's a lot to ask to see a Toxic again. But jeez. Alright, Claydol finding a spin. And Watermess probably does not have Gengar, which makes the earlier plays make sense. River thought there may have been a Gengar. There wasn't. Oh my gosh. Goes Tar. I guess it was a sacrifice. Could be. Oh, that was expecting something else crazy. Claydol goes for Explosion, which denies Rapid Spin, and then Watermess's spikes will remain now. Maybe River was expecting that Explode to happen the previous turn and went to Tar expecting an Explode to try and preserve Fortress, but then the Explode came a turn later. It was delayed a bit. That's probably the logic from River on that switch to Tyranitar. Great Brick Break on the incoming Tyranitar. Great move. Trying to get something out of this Salamence while it is on death's door. Turns out to be Protect Tyranitar. You do not see that every day, and River reveals another attempt at gaming with a Fire Blast Predict on what could be an incoming Skarm or Meta. Now Watermess goes Skarm bravely and falls, unfortunately. But this Salamence will fall as well to this Toxic after a Protect from Tar. River saves Salamence as a sacrifice later. Yeah, Protect uncommon on Tyranitar. Usually you prefer something more aggressive or some utility move, but it can be good. It's saved Watermess's life here. Makes sense with all the Toxic uses to rack up chip damage and also scout what people like to do. And it's a Celebi, which is very, very solid against this Swampert. I was about to say that Swampert looks problematic into everything, but no. Celebi cleanly answers it, and even gets a Hidden Power Grass on it, which has just devastated this Swampert. It's dead to spikes the next time it comes in. So the only hope for River is maybe this Jirachi. Just goes for a straightforward HP Grass. Leech Seed will punish this Blissey and recover health for Celebi. And that it does. No Ice Beam from River, just a heal. Wants Blissey back in the game. Swampert about to fall, so Tyranitar's now a big threat. And back to Moltres, which really hits this Jirachi that just came in. And nothing loves coming in on this. It's probably going to be a Swampert sacrifice or a Salamence sacrifice just to get a safe way into Blissey to stop this from just winning. Salamence sacrifice it is, which allows Blissey to enter. Good move to save Salamence earlier for that sacrifice. At least gives you some breathing room, potentially, but you're in a rough spot for sure, River. Gonna Toxic now. Does Blissey have... It has Thunderbolt. And it gets a Para. Okay, a bit of a saving grace for River, potentially. That Paralyze had come at a perfect moment. But Watermess still has Steam in the tank with a pretty threatening Tyranitar now. If it has Earthquake Rock Slide, it probably wins, because that hits Jirachi and Fortress and Blissey for good damage. But if there's a will, there's a way. River could get a Freeze or another Para. An Ice Beam crit on the incoming Celebi certainly helps. Does this Celebi have Recover on it? We don't know. It's got HP Grass, so I would imagine it also has Recover, since it's not HP Fire. The Fortress Sack denies the Recover turn, and if Jirachi's faster, this could be a KO. It is not faster, though, but brings Moltres in. Paralyzed Moltres immune to Toxic, so that's actually a benefit to being paralyzed. The game state has changed, and Watermess has identified a new way in. And Rest on the Protect. I think Rest Moltres just wins. This can't really be beaten. The only thing is the Blissey has a Thunderbolt, which threatens Moltres with damage. It's even Sleep Talk. I've seen Watermess use this set before. No Grass move, just Sleep Talk. Flamethrower Toxic. I thought Molt might have had Protect this whole time, and it was saving it, but no. Didn't choose to Sleep Talk there to reset the counter. And here's Metagross, which is a massive threat to Blissey, of course. Right, the fact that Blissey is Thunderbolting this and taking a lot of damage will probably result in Watermess's victory, I would imagine, unless you get some horrendous luck. Just Thunderbolt doesn't do enough to Metagross to really be much of a problem. It's Calm Mind Blissey, which I did expect here because no status move was ever clicked against Moltres, because there was none. It was Calm Mind the entire time. And Explode would end this at any moment, but Watermess might be wary. Exploding on the wrong target here could be a way to lose, right? And gets a critical hit. Which is lucky, but also that situation was looping. Blissey not that threatening to Metagross. I think Metagross is very favored to win that 1v1, like, extremely so. And also consider that there's a Tyranitar in the back. I think River would have had to get a miracle to come back from this spot, and it was outstandingly played by Watermess here. Toxic predictions, doubles to Molt, pressure, almost learning from River in the previous game, playing very similarly. Again, making 3 spikes against a Fortress team. I think River may have, I wouldn't necessarily call it a blunder, but the double switch to Tar early on were trying to be proactive, which can be good, but didn't turn out to be a Gengar at all, which maybe you could suss out based on the gameplay of not going Gengar initially. But even if you do have a Gengar, you would be careful. That's not necessarily a dead giveaway or anything either. But that was when Watermess was able to establish the 3rd layer and start getting the ball rolling and really breaking through everything. So that was where the problem arose. A Fortress could have been crazy in this matchup, but it wasn't that. It was not that way. And we are in a game 3. Watermess and River. Great set so far. I almost feel like these two have a similar playstyle, dare I say. Coming in on a Jirachi. Perhaps the dedicated special wall of the team is Jirachi based on this. Dodges the Slam Para and gets a Para of her own, which is very advantageous. Jirachi does not have any form of status healing. Paralyzes a Metagross on River's side, though. Thunder Punch, catching Skarmory, and another Lucky Paralysis. Oh dear. And a critical hit. Well, that stinks, doesn't it? It was a good move, though. I gotta give respect to the initial Thunder Punch. Was a good move, but that is rough. Could Watermess have... Oh, it's Camel. What if Watermess could have played around that particular Metagross set, which usually Electric, Grass, Ground, Explode? If there's a better way than staying with Skarm. But you don't want to get layers as soon as possible. Alright, I'll be honest, Watermess is getting kind of boned here. We don't love to see it. And a high roll on the last Hydro Pump there. To KO the Jirachi. And then Explode. I mean, Watermess... It's all in on Suicune at this point for Watermess, which, if there's a Suicune, there is a way. We know this to be true. Camerupt also handles Zapdos. Doesn't appear to be a Dugtrio, so Camerupt might be an asset here. Toxic was a beautiful move. Catching Swampert. Hopefully not Refresh Swampert. That would thwart this. Goes for Protect. Doing Flamethrower. It's good to have Flamethrower in this particular matchup. You don't want Fire Blast because that could get stalled. Only 8 PP. In comes Suicune this time. Watermess, looking like there's a chance to recover here. A big threat is the Metagross Explosion, and also this Celebi with Leech Seed kind of stops Suicune from going crazy, so that's what Watermess needs to try and get through here. No Ice Beam either is rough, so Celebi is going to be a bit of a wall for Suicune doing much. I think Watermess might have been hoping for a Leech Seed click there, but Celebi just Psychicking. Camerupt's getting damn low now. But so is this Swampert, which is good news, potentially. Might actually make Camerupt itself more of a threat. Suicune a bit overloaded here. Doesn't want to get exploded on by Metagross, but there could be a boom mind game to be had with Gengar still healthy. Does River go to Celebi on the Suicune switch? No. Suicune comes in on the Hydro Pump. Camerupt comes back in. Oh no. Watermess went for something crazy, which you should in this kind of spot, I guess. And didn't Calm Mind there, just surfed. Worried about the damage. Now no Camel. No more Camel. You gotta go Gengar, which is very rough. Taking 61. Blowing up. And if this Snorlax just has Explosion, it's over. Because Suicune can't do anything unless even a Surf Crit won't KO. Oh, never mind. A Surf Crit did KO. But that may have just been fool's gold. You Calm Mind here. Taking 62. Another para just to... just salt in the wound, really. Maybe Watermess could have done something with the Camel, but the fact that Snorlax is in the back with another explosion. He did get bailed out by critting it a little bit, but there was a lot of uphill battle for Watermess in this one after that terrible opening. To be fair, River did have the Starmie to thwart the spikes potentially, but Watermess had the Gengar as a counterpoint. Gengar Claydol could also have bluffed no Gengar. Claydol not commonly seen with Gengar, so Watermess may have been trying to conceal that he's got the Gengar, which could have won the game. Something to consider. That's regrettable, but Watermess still in the tournament. Going to be in the lower bracket next time, and River progressing. Although this was a lucky game 3, I'm impressed with River's performance. This was a well-played game. Even sometimes you get lucky, you got to push the advantage further. That's what happens sometimes. And not allow for comebacks. And River did not allow that Camerupt to do anything crazy. Eliminated the one thing keeping Watermess in the game, which was astute. You got to give credit there. You also got to say bad luck Watermess as well. And we love Camerupt, don't we? Nice to see Camerupt having a reveal. Well, thanks for watching, folks. And we'll see you in the next one.